Good morning and welcome to A Closer Look. I'm your host, Linda Fontaine. Today I have two guests. Today I have Danelle Glasscock, who's Executive Director, and Jonathan Anderson, who is the Homeless Services Liaison with United Way. Thank you for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
Happy to
So
be here.
let's talk about what's going on with the United Way. Let's talk about COVID, because that's what's going on these days. So tell me what's going on with the COVID-19 fund.
Well, thank you, Linda. We appreciate the opportunity to be here today. When COVID first started in March, little did we all know where it would be here now in July. But when it started, we thought we need to set up a disaster relief fund to help those that are going to be impacted, particularly the most vulnerable in our communities, the elderly, the homeless, our school children, the families. We talk a lot about United Way too, about those that are just living paycheck to paycheck. We were talking about that even before the COVID crisis. What we call our ALICE population, those that are asset limited, income constrained, employed. And we set up this fund to help all this vulnerable population. We set it up regionally and also locally. Each United Way in our region also has local funds, and together we've raised over $700,000 for our region, thanks to a lot of great corporate partners and help across our communities.
That's amazing. So how much of that will go locally?
We have about $150,000 of that committed locally, again, thanks to individuals, corporations, companies, businesses, company foundations too, as well. And we've already been able to distribute most of those dollars. We've distributed them to over 40 agencies in our community. In the beginning, we got some funds out quickly, mostly $500 grants to help people buy more cleaning supplies, whatever they might need. But more recently, it's been higher level grants to help set up, for example, a preschool program for essential workers with our local Y, and also to help many of our elderly too, to get rides to places, to give them grocery cards to help them make their ends meet. And we've also been excited too to partner with an agency in our community called UEFTA. That's a little bit of a hard thing to say, but people say it different, but it's the Upper East Human Development Agency, and they also, you may see the billboards around town, but they're really trying to help people with their rent or mortgage and utility assistance. As we know, it is hard times as the unemployment rate has really risen in our community, and we want to be with that as well. But we're really excited too about what we've been doing with the homeless and what Jonathan and his group have been doing as well.
Well, on that note, Jonathan, tell us, how is this helping the homeless? I know you've been a big advocate for the homeless in our region for a while now, so tell us, how is this fund helping them?
Yeah, so initially when we found out that COVID was on the increase, we wanted to we had to start somewhere. So initially we knew that hygiene was going to be an issue, so we had hand washing stations placed strategically around our city, and so those were at local organizations where the folks are going to receive assistance, and so we've had those out since March of this year, and that's where we started initially. But through the fund, we've also been able to help with transitional housing, temporary housing for folks, so that they are able to socially distance, so that they're able to practice proper hygiene, and initially keep our community spread at a low number.
Well, how's that been going? Have you found it to be a problem? Have the homeless been, how much have they been able to learn about what's going on with COVID?
Well, initially, so thankfully at this point we have had zero of our homeless population that have tested positive for COVID. Not all of them have been tested, but we've been monitoring symptoms for our folks that are in temporary housing. We've been checking temperatures periodically, things like that. We have folks that have been tested, but thankfully no one has received a positive test.
Oh, well, that's fantastic. So tell me a little bit more about what United Way is doing.
Well, we're very concerned about what's next and continuing to monitor our community problems and issues throughout this crisis. As we know right now, numbers are in the increase again, and we're in a contact with our local food bank, Second Harvest, and trying to work with them as they're seeing their numbers increase as well. We're particularly concerned about the end of this month, where the extra unemployment benefits will run out for some people, and we're concerned about with schools starting and what that will mean to our communities and how we're going to be available to help. There's a lot of unknowns here, but we know that United Way is at the forefront of this fight. And what we like to talk about United Way, we talk about a lot, is our brand credo is to fight. United Way fights for the health, education, and financial stability of every person in our community. And we know that through COVID, it has been a fight. It has been a fight to try to overcome the barriers that are impacting people right now, and to try to help people keep a roof over their head and food on their tables as well. But we know this fight is not over. We're sitting here in July. We don't know what the next few months hold yet, but we know that we have a lot of community support, people wanting to help neighbors. I was thinking this morning as I was driving in about a family. They gave $300, one for each person in their family, and I was just thinking, wow, those $300 went to buy 12 gift cards of $25 each for grocery cards that could go and help people in our community. And so we're really excited about how we can continue to be at the forefront of helping as we move forward.
Okay, on that note, tell me, how can people help out more in the community right now? Because a lot of people are wanting to help in little ways. You know, our spirit for giving in times of crisis is fantastic. And even though a lot of people are out of jobs right now, they still want to do what they can to help. What can we do?
Well, we always appreciate people's monetary donations, as many of our agencies continue to need that help. Most of their fundraisers have not been able to happen. Great organizations as our Boys and Girls Club and Girls Incorporated and many other organizations continue to need our help, so we've continued to help them. So monetary donations to uakpt.org and donate button on that would be greatly appreciated. But also people are looking to volunteer, even in the midst of COVID, and we have a great website, volunteerunited.org, and it's regional, and so people can go on there and find out even volunteer opportunities that can be done even now in the midst of this crisis.
Well, that's fantastic. I know people want to help, and I mean, I've just been having people reach out to me and asking what they can do. So UWAY, KingsportKPT.org.
That's correct.
And volunteer, what was that, united.org?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so those are two sites that they can go to and donate, find out ways that they can help out during this time. So Jonathan, what else can we do to help out with your situation, with your push to help the homeless and all?
So one of the things we're working on right now is our homeless coalition, and so our homeless coalition, we actually met yesterday, and so we're seeing some great progress. We have a lot of great partner organizations in our community that are currently working together with that. So if it's something that you're looking to specifically help with the homeless population, I would encourage you to reach out to our partner agencies, whether that's Salvation Army or Hope Haven or organizations like that that are already currently working in our city, doing a great job.
And a way to reach out to them is just go into their websites, I take it. You can just Google those different agencies.
Yes, and some of those agencies also have volunteer postings on our Volunteer United website as well.
Very good. So how is the coalition doing? What's new with all that?
Things are going really well. We have lots of great folks that are involved in that. We have city leaders, we have community leaders. All of our organizations are represented. And so currently we're gathering data. We're looking at our current population. How do we work to better assist them? How do we work to break down barriers and different things like that? So we're seeing lots of progress.
Okay, very good. That's good to hear. So what else do we need to learn about United Way and the concerns and how it's different this year as compared to other years and what we can do?
Well, thank you, Linda. We're heading into our fall campaign, which normally people see our banners all down the street and also at companies where they'll give the opportunity to donate again for next year. And we need people stepping up, people that have jobs and that haven't been as impacted, even though we've all been impacted. We need them to understand the need this year is greater than ever, and so start thinking about that. How can they give and pledge for another year of donations to United Way?
And I'm sure if someone contacted you guys, you'd have some clever ways for them to come up with ideas and how they can help raise money.
Yes, that would be wonderful.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, United Way has always been a great advocate for our community, and we really appreciate everything you guys do.
Thank you very much.
So we hope to have you guys on again soon, and hopefully with a different fund instead of COVID, and hopefully we can eradicate this as soon as possible. So thank you guys both for being here today, and I really appreciate everything you do for our community. You're both awesome. Jonathan, I know we have you on all the time because you're always doing great things for our community, and we really appreciate it, and it's been so nice to get to know you, Danelle.
Thank you.
Thank
Same
you.
to you, Linda.
Okay, thank you all for tuning in to A Closer Look, and you know I'll be back here next week with another edition. Hope to see you then.